आजकल हम बहुत छोटे से समय में बहुत ज़्यादा सक्सेसफुल होना चाहते हैं, बहुत सारी एम्बिशंस, एस्पिरेशंस, नया जोश, नया खून. इट्स लाइक वी डोंट वांट टू इवॉल्व बट वी वांट टू मेक अ रेवोल्यूशन, लाइक वी वांट टू क्रिएट अ बूम. पर इतनी तेज़ी से भागते भागते कई बार कुछ चीज़ें छूट जाती हैं विच लीड्स टू फेलियर, और फिर हम ऐसे थक के टूट जाते हैं, गिर जाते हैं कि दोबारा हिम्मत ही नहीं जुटा पाते कि खड़े हों. We are not able to gather that strength to bounce back and resolve. तो हम या हमारी आने वाली generations के ऊपर ऐसी मुसीबतें ना आए, इसके लिए today we have our coach Sushil Arora, who's gonna guide us, or rather tell us the do's and don'ts for our millennial generations.
Millennial generation. I call it generation me rather.
Oh, that is easy, no?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
See,
easy.
this is the one of the energetic generations I would call. They are the energy balls. The only thing is that they need to channelize their energy. That's it. See, there was a generation which my parents, I would say, which were born in 1950s, 60s, till 80s. These are called the generation X. And then we have a generation which was born after 80s or late 80s till 2000. This generation is called many a times as generation Y, or we call it generation millennial generation, and I call it generation me, I would say that. And there is a generation which is born after 2000 which is called generation Z, which has to grown up yet, and then which will be coming after to work after 2020 or 2018 onwards. They will be coming to work.
Right.
So what this generation is really having a tough time to have their careers established, to prove themselves to the world that they are. And there is nothing wrong in that. They want immediate acknowledgement, they want results, they want quick results, because they are born and they have seen this in this digital era. They have seen the dot-com bubble, they are the Google age. Next generation always leads a better life than the previous one. So now this generation X always wanted generation Y to lead a better life. So what they did everything for the next generation. They provided with all the tools, technology tools. They missed in just one way, that they couldn't create the value for it.
Right.
Everything comes at a cost.
Yes.
There is no free lunch in this world.
Definitely.
So they just missed to create that with the next generation.
What is, मतलब ये term मुझे नहीं कहना नहीं आ रहा है कि millennial generation में गलत क्या है, या millennial generation होना क्या गलत है?
There is nothing wrong in that, as I earlier said. There is nothing wrong in generation X as well as generation Y also. Okay. The only thing is they need to understand each other. They just need to fill this gap just by giving space to each other. I would say, I would give it a 3A formula.
Okay.
Number 1, A for acceptance. Number 2, A for adaptability, and number 3 for approach.
Okay.
So we need to accept each other, like parents need to understand what the needs and what all their next generation wants. And next generation, millennial generation also needs to understand how the way their parents think.
Right.
Because their parents had seen all the tough times of wars and partition. They wanted that their generation should lead a better life.
Right.
So they did it. So now they are also not wrong, because they got all those luxuries. So though they also need to, the only thing is we need to understand each other's perspective. We need to accept that.
अगर जैसे supposedly my daughter is there, she every time needs an acknowledgement for whatever she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
उसको हर चीज़ के लिए acknowledgement चाहिए होता है, नहीं तो वो बच्चों की तरह नाराज़ या गुस्सा हो जाती है. तो is it fine with it? Like is it okay with this generation being acknowledged every time?
We need to accept each other the way we are. That's it. There is nothing permanent in this world. Change is inevitable. So we need to understand the changes which has already been done. Okay. We can't undo them. See, they have been born and brought up in this social media era, social networking era, I would say. So when they post their pics, they get the immediate likes, unlike, they get it immediately. They click on a button and they get the information they need. So we need to accept each other. Generation X needs to understand Generation Y, and Generation Y needs to understand Generation X. So we need to adapt ourselves to how the way they want things to happen. So many times the Generation X is right, many times Generation Y is right. So we need to adapt to each other the ways of being, the way they are and the way we are. We need to just accept the difference and be adaptable to, at some points we need to change ourselves, and sometimes we need to create with them that please accept we are different and there is no harm in being different. Change is inevitable. We just need to accept and adapt ourselves. Rather than changing somebody else, we need to change ourselves and adapt ourselves rather than blaming everybody else.
True.
Anybody else.
Right. तो adapt कर लिया, accept कर लिया, ठीक है. But फिर भी, how can you fill this gap between Generation X and this Millennial generation? एक बड़ा सारा gap रह ही जाता है.
I must create the third A approach.
Okay.
Approach is power in the language. You see the world the way you are. अगर आप अपने बच्चे को 4 बार कहते हैं you can't do it, he will show up like that. And if you show up that yes you can do it, you are in. Now this generation is already groomed up like that yes they are powerful, that they have seen all the motivation videos and they are self-motivated that yes we can do, we can prove ourselves. So we need to accept them the way they are and then put a trust on them that yes they can do. The moment we put our trust onto them, they will surely show up. That's the best way. Without the third A of approach, they won't show up the way we want it.
So can you please repeat these 3 A's for me again?
Approach, adaptability, and usse pehle acceptance. So first accept, then be ready for being adaptable, and how you approach each other. That's what matters.
That's gonna solve all your miseries.
Yes.
Each other.
More or less, yes.
Okay. आजकल की मिलेनियल जनरेशन की एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. दे डूइंग अ जॉब समटाइम्स, ठीक है हम कर रहे हैं काम, बट व्हाट दे आर लाइक सेंटेंसेस, आई एम डूइंग इट बट आई एम नॉट लविंग इट. सो हाउ टू लव द जॉब यू डूइंग?
See, this generation has seen the magics happening. They have seen the reach in no time. They have seen results immediately. Product is launched and distributed all over the world. They have seen the results. They have seen the success of WhatsApp being sold within no time, within 4 years for $19 billion. But we need to understand this millennial generation, what misses out is that there is always a cost to it. The promoters of WhatsApp were not billionaires in one day. Both of them had more than 15 years of experience. And everybody knows that, but nobody highlights the struggle they had done, that they were denied a job in Facebook. So nobody knows that. Nobody highlights the struggle. Everybody looks at the gloomy side of the picture. That's it. So everybody sees it as a brighter side, and not the darker one. So everybody needs to understand that there is always a darker side. Job, it takes time to produce results. Business, it takes time to produce results. Rome was not built in a day, and it cannot be even rebuilt in a day, in spite of all the digital era. Oh, you can reproduce it only in IT. On computer graphics, you can create it within no time, but that also takes so much of hard work and picture के पीछे बहुत कुछ हो रहा होता है. That today's generation, the millennial generation needs to understand. तो पहले हमें समझ आनी चाहिए कि उसके पीछे स्ट्रगल होता है, उसके पीछे डार्कर साइड होती है. If there is dark, sun can't be far away. It's vice versa. आपने कभी बहुत अच्छा एक पीछे सॉन्ग आया था. I was really surprised at the song first. सुन रहा है ना तू. तो पहली बार जब आप किसी भी गाने को सुनते हैं या तारा तारा कोई भी सॉन्ग आप पहली बार सुनते हैं, do you see that do you like it for the first time?
No.
You eventually start liking it when you hear it over and over and over and over again. So same is the thing with your job also, or your profile in the business, or whatsoever you are doing at right moment, right now. So many a times it may look like that you are not liking it, but once you repeat it, and you have to stretch yourself for that, it won't happen in one day. Over the period when you do it again, you would love it for sure. It won't happen in a day. Once you do it again and again, then you fall in love with it. But we are uncomfortable doing it again and again. So rather we need to understand first that this is the uncomfort which makes you grow in life. It is never the comfort zone which will make you grow in life. Be ready to be uncomfortable. Only don't ask from God for luxuries. Ask from God for more challenges.
Opportunities.
The more challenges you have, the more opportunities you have, the more chances are that you will be successful.
Are you convinced with the idea of this millennial generation being a millionaire or an entrepreneur someday? क्या हमारी millennial generation कर सकती है वो सब, वही entrepreneurship और वही millennials वो बन सकते हैं जो generation X ने करा?
Yes, there is not even a single % that doubt that they can't do anything which their parents were doing, and they can be many times doing it in a better way and in a faster way. There is no doubt about it. They need to understand the dynamics of business, and they, many times जैसे आपने कहा कि वो किसी की सुनते नहीं हैं, but one thing is that always create a fallback structure. Fallback structure, you have a mentor or you कहते हैं हमें रोने के लिए भी कंधा चाहिए होता है. So we need to have a fallback structure, or we need to have a mentor, you call it a guru or you call it a guide or a coach or a business coach, whosoever in life, but have that to be successful in life or to be successful in business.
Thank you, Sushil ji. This 3A formula was really empowering, and millennial generation बहुत अच्छे से इस वीडियो के साथ शायद कनेक्ट हो पाई होगी. It was really helpful. अगर फिर भी कुछ confusions हैं जो अभी भी ट्रैक पे नहीं आ रही, तो फिर queries के लिए you can always visit our website sushilarora.com. We are always there to help you. Thank you.